Hello, and welcome to a Let's Play of Dark Deity, a Steam game that's sort of reminiscent of the Game Boy Advanced Fire Emblem games. We're playing on the hardest level, Deity, and we'll be running through some weird randomization options. We'll have random item drops, random enemy weapons. Uh, the stat growths will be non-linear, which means we're at the mercy of the RNG gods. And hopefully it turns out pretty well. Let's see how it does. Chapter 1. We're going to use slot 5.
What? Right. Don't worry.
Yep. Aw, come on.
Great. Pace yourself.
Yep.
It'll be all right.
No fair.
You will notice the cutscenes and loading screens are not exactly great. You will also notice that sometimes the right side of the screen just doesn't exist. And anytime we have to select anything at any of the borders of the windows, it could be an adventure. We'll start off looking at our troops. They are the same as always. We'll be getting them in normal recruitable order, not random. Random characters is interesting. It can also totally break all of the cutscenes, as the characters will still be called the same names, they'll just be totally different, and then all of a sudden they'll appear differently. You'll be wondering what's going on. We start out with Irving. He is our warrior. He is the protagonist of the story. Uh, Unit-wise, he's okay. He'll be good in the first part of the game, and then he drops off compared to a couple of the other warriors we pick up. Warrior as a whole is limited to one range weapons, except for Dragon Knights, and that makes them kind of bad in the long term. As with Fire Emblem games, mages end up being ridiculously overpowered because of their 1 to 2 range attacks. Archers tend to be the worst. In this game, there is one tree of the archers of the ranger class that will end up with 3 range weapons. That's a plus. Other than that, they're stuck at 2 range, which means anything standing in melee range of them hits them for free, does not get counterattacked. That's bad. Mages have a 1 to 2 range. That's very good. There will be some differences among the classes. Priests can either have a 1 or a 1-2 attack range. Warriors are almost entirely locked to 1. Rangers have 2 archer classes and 2 melee classes. And one of the other classes we don't have yet has a very similar thing where they have some things with 1 range, some things with 1 or 2 range. Some abilities in this will go up to, I believe, 5 range. I won't really be using those. You'll notice that each weapon type does something different against each of the armor types. This gets really ridiculous to remember at times. Slashing, for instance, does significantly more damage against leather, a little bit more damage against cloth, rune cloaks, and then less damage versus plate or chain. If we look at
Let's do it.
our little mage friend over here, he is one of the better characters in the game. He will end up tanking and one-shotting everything through the first half of the game, and then as his tankiness drops off, he stays able to murder the crap out of everything he sees. 1 to 2 range, does significantly more damage against plate, does a little bit more damage against chain, does slightly less damage against leather and cloth users. This weapon type will change at level 10. Thanks to exploiting some of his growths. Every character has skills. Each one has an innate skill. Irving gives 6 experience points every time he kills something to any of our units within 2 range, which is sort of the triangle or the diamond of doom. 1, 2, 1, 2. You see it when the grid is available. Alden cannot get less than 4 stats when leveling up. This is interesting, and he will gain them in a specific order. He will gain magic, then he will gain hit points, and those are all we care about, because he'll be in a class that gives him between 90... I think with the randomizers turned on, it can be within 75 to 95 speed. 100% is a guaranteed level up. You have your growth rate out of 100 chance of gaining that on a level up. He'll almost always gain 1 speed every level. He is pretty much guaranteed to gain 1 to 2 hit points a level. He's almost guaranteed to gain 1 magic a level, and if he's not gaining those, he's getting defense and fortitude. Fortitude being this game's magic defense. Fortitude, resistance to magic. Defense, resistance to physical. Strength and magic are your damage. Strength for physical, magic for magical. Dexterity, accuracy, and dodge. Mastery is a bonus to power, and I believe slightly increases the amount of damage you do against armor types you're strong against. Speed is dodge and true speed. Luck is, as you see, some of the issues we're going to run into. Accuracy, along with dexterity, and then crit chance. Power is determined by your weapon damage plus your relevant stat. That is compared to your opponent's fortitude, if it's magic, or their defense for physical, and that is the damage you deal with each attack. Accuracy is chance to hit. It's accuracy minus dodge. He would have a significantly good chance of hitting himself were he to hit himself. Crit is your innate chance to crit, and true speed is similar to speed in Fire Emblem. If it's 5 or more than the enemy's true speed, you get to attack twice. no advantage to having more than that. However, that is a function of speed, which also increases your dodge. So while this number doesn't matter, this number does. Every character has 4 weapon types. Red is more power, blue is more crit, green is more accuracy, yellow is sort of the middle of the ground between all of them. Most classes in this playthrough will be running yellow, green, or blue weapons, depending on who they are. There are 1 or 2 that get red. They serve different roles. One of them is a dedicated mage killer. One of them is a warrior that does stuff. We're going to see how this plays out. In actuality, thanks to class differences, there are a lot more archers on the field than we're used to. Normally, there would be 1 or 2. I believe these 2. Today, our generic mech fighter guys have been replaced by archers. We have an archer replacing a priest, and we have some spear guys. They're called adepts. We'll get one of our own before too long. Pressing the wrong button in this game is interesting. The menuing is not the greatest. Notice Garrick, with his red weapon, does 12 damage, 100% chance to hit. Crossbow, 10 damage, 100% hit, significantly more crit. His green weapon, since he's already maxed out on hit, just does less damage. And then his yellow weapon, because of its weight, will give him a chance to double attack. And the crit will be higher than anything but blue. You'll notice that his weapon type is at a disadvantage. So he has an F versus the C of the mage trying to hit him back. If he attacks the adept, notice he's doing more damage and has a B, and the adept can't counterattack because bows are 2 range and spears are 1 range. We can disable the animations. Again, for comparison, Alden has a C against this armor type. His red will do 14 damage. His blue will have a less chance to hit but a significantly higher crit chance. His green will guaranteed hit but do less damage. And then his yellow, which he will be spending almost all of his lifetime using, will usually always hit and will usually always double because it has this very low weight. Cast on the mage. He'll only do 6 damage. Cycling through, you see that ends up being his highest damage ability. The mage has a 50-50 chance of hitting him back. Alden will dodge a lot in the early game. At the start, clerics hit with maces. Paladins and the tankier sides of the clerics will always hit with maces. Caster clerics will actually get spells. The yellow weapon is almost always going to be what our priests will be using. All our priests except 1 will be straight up priests. They'll be healing the entire time. Their damage dealing variant is not very good. It is probably the weakest damage dealer in the game. However, they can heal at 3 range when spec'd into healing, so that's what we'll be doing. Marin gets her attacks in, gets hit back, it's fine. Marin's passive is that when she heals someone, she heals herself for 40% of the total heal value. she is also out of range of this mage and this archer.
Together.
Then Irving comes in. And should give everyone 6 free experience. There are also bonds in this game. You get slight bonuses for being near bonded units. Having this many ranged guys at the start is definitely interesting.
Sorry in advance.
Garrick has a passive that gives him a chance to crit, independent of normal crit. So he'll actually get 2 rolls. I think one's at 10%, and then one's at his weapon critical.
Are you sure?
I would like to take a little bit of damage on somebody. You cannot heal a full health unit.
Together.
Heal is the priest ability. Mages get phase. That lets them move a unit from one square on either side of them to the other side of them. As they level up, there are advanced classes of the mage that let them target something 2 and then 3 squares away. Rangers give haste, and warriors can push. What that looks like is a nice little shove, and you get experience from it. There is a way on this map to exploit all of that. You can get in a situation where enemies can do no damage to you, and you can just use your abilities to push, shove, haste, and sort of mess around with each other, get free XP, and then get XP when the mobs hit you. Will not be doing that because that takes an annoying amount of time. Irving was hit. Now let's Marion heal him. Let's Marion heal herself.
Let's do it.
Bring Garrick in. Garrick will crit. Crits do twice as much damage unless you have class modifiers for it.
Much of a chance, huh?
I believe there is a rogue class that can get up to 275%, and then there's a character that has a crit bonus. Irving, 6 more XP for everybody. Note that Irving's XP gain cannot take a character to a level up. It will put them at 99. They have to get that last point for themselves. The AI in this game is interesting. Sometimes it will move towards you. Sometimes you have to be in their attack range. They will not always pick a target that can't counterattack. I'm not quite sure what the AI is like. There are skills that say you are more likely or less likely to be targeted. Those do nothing as far as anyone has been able to point out to this game. I've looked online. There are guides that say they're all broken. They do nothing. There's absolutely no advantage to using them whatsoever.
Stay with me.
I don't know if that's true, but I am
I think I can be proud of this.
willing to believe it. This is what a leveled up screen looks like. It should have stayed on there. Notice you have a % chance to gain each stat. You can gain 2 HP, which is a little bit different in this game than in other games like it. A perfect level up is getting 1 of every stat. Usually mages won't get any strength. Usually warriors won't get any magic. They have no class-based growths, and the characters tend to only have a 5 or 10% growth if they're of that class. The art of chip damage in this game is real. Garrick here, we don't want him to crit because we want him to leave this enemy with a little bit of health. It can't do any damage to him. Swapping weapons for chip damage is good. This is a not so good level. Typically we're happy if our characters are gaining dexterity and strength or magic. Dexterity is huge. You can get stat screwed so bad that your characters can't hit anything, in which case that character is basically pointless for the run. Standing inside their hitbox, since they have ranged weapons, they can't counter. The animations for attacks are pretty neat. Alden is very good. We don't expect him to gain strength. Mastery is a bit less important than you'd think for him. We're going to have Marin do some damage. It's a bit more XP than healing, and nothing else is in range to hit us. And then Irving can finish it off. The random classes and slightly random stats are going to be a little bit weird. I did a deity run earlier just to see what the game was like with random items, but I kept the enemies the same, and I figured I'd do it full random on this one and see how it goes. When it starts getting into aspects, that's where things get real nuts. We have the ability to get things far earlier than we're supposed to. And we can break the game in creative ways, and we can actually loot some things that will keep us from... it'll make characters useless when we loot them. It's great. We would like to not kill this guy with Alden. That is not going to happen.
Are you sure?
It is okay if Alden does not get a ton of XP. He will, even at slightly lower level, solo maps. Meanwhile, Irving, we would like him to get a much better level than that. Irving needs the levels to stay competitive. Clerics don't need levels to stay competitive at all. Garrick, his usefulness long term is highly dependent on how his early levels turn out. If he gets good stat ups, it's fantastic. If he gets bad stat ups, he goes to the bench and stays there.
Lead the way.
Chop, chop.
Have fun.
Showing off some of
Hope you don't mind.
our skills. Just going to milk a little bit of experience. Sterling over there won't move. You'll notice that this guy targeted Alden, even though there's two characters. They both target Alden. There's two characters that they can hit that can't attack back. He's even in range of both of them, not attacking them.
Fresh as a daisy.
This game will prioritize the weirdest things sometimes.
Have fun.
Chop chop. Hope you don't mind.
We're gonna hope he targets. Nope, he's gonna suicide by teenage boy.
Was that
We'll see a
really
lot of
necessary?
enemies do that in this playthrough. Alden, once again, magic, speed, 2 hit points. That's all he'll get. Well, it's not all he'll get, but it's all we care about. The resistance is nice, even though it's not called that in this game.
Stay with me.
Marin, magic,
I think I can be
defense,
proud of this.
speed. That's great. Mastery is helpful. Healing by clerics works on their power, which is increased by some function of mastery somewhere. Sterling over here is not great. He is I believe he's a blade dancer. He's an assassin. That is also a blade dancer model. Irving can kill him. I don't think we can juice any more XP. He doesn't move. We can stand around and durdle for a while. That's spectacularly unfun. However, you can get to level 300 or so. There is apparently no level cap in this game. You can get all your guys to their 3rd class before leaving this map. It's actually the best way to keep Irving relevant, but that is a terrible way to go about things. Speaking of things we shouldn't have at this point in the game,
What would you do without me?
game gives you an MVP based on who deals the most damage or heals the most. A lot of times it'll be damage dealt. There'll be a couple maps where it's healing. And that is the end of Act 1. I think we're going to try to do 2 acts in this first video. They're short enough, and the second chapter will give us a look at our other 2 classes we haven't seen yet. The music in this game isn't bad. It is not voice acted in cutscenes, or it is not consistently voice acted in cutscenes. It is voice acted in some of the battles. It does get annoying and repetitive, and I turned it off in my first playthrough. I recorded a normal playthrough of this, and the entire right side of the screen was cut off. There's a very good chance that part of the right side of the screen may be cut off in this recording. I did try to mess with it in OBS to make sure it didn't, but we'll see.
Listen up. How is this fair? No. Yes. It's not that simple.
I know. Irving.
Don't worry.
Fine by me.
Right away. Perhaps. No kidding. Towards!
Welcome to Chapter 2. We're introduced to two new characters, Elias, an adept, the spear wielders.
I'm on it.
Their ability is to chain. They can, currently within one range, up to 3 with one of their elites or advanced classes, will root the enemy in place, making them unable to move. And then we have Rogue, Sia. They have the ability to disarm, which will remove the weapon stats from a character's power, crit, and speed where relevant. It's actually a very good way to reduce damage. It'll stick through for the enemy's turn, as she's a pretty decent dodge tank. We see a weird variety of enemy units here. We have a Surge, which is an upgraded Adept. We have an Inquisitor, which is an upgraded Paladin. We have a Conjurer, which is an upgraded Mage. We have a Battle Mage, which is also an upgraded Mage. I don't know why. They should be within the same tier. These are definitely not Tier 1 units. We have another upgraded Caster. We have an upgraded Warrior. We have another Battle Mage. We have another upgraded Warrior. We have another upgraded Warrior. This is going to be an interesting playthrough. Normally, you have 2 melee users here, 2 archers here, and the first turn looks significantly different. Sia is a level 2 rogue. You'll notice right away her damage is pretty terrible. Even on something she has an armor advantage against, she's doing 7 damage. Where she shines, though, is the ability to disarm. She gets XP for it. This Surge will lose his weapon bonuses. We can't hover over and see them. Surges have storm damage. Conjures deal fire damage. Battle mages deal the same surge damage. Then bandits do crushing damage. Or the Inquisitor does. That will hit plate for a lot. It'll hit chain for a little less. Will do less damage to leather and rune cloaks, which are cloth. Elias has piercing damage. Notice not so much on the cleric. That is the tank cleric class. Much more respectable damage on the conjurer. Conjurer's ability is to heal for a percentage of damage they deal. It looks like that might not be working since it's not level 10. Sia's passive is that she gets extra healing from health recovery items. We won't be using those.
I'll take point.
Okay, so Irving picked up Solaric's Rally by killing something. Unfortunately, it won't work for us right now because it's an aspect, and aspects have to be in your top inventory slot. Can he equip it? He can. This game has had a couple patches in its lifetime. Before, if it wasn't in the top, you just couldn't do anything with it. Solaric's Rally is one of the worst aspects. However, it is entirely positive.
Thought you'd never ask.
You'll also notice that moving can be interesting sometimes, and your stuff can just get canceled. Hoping Garrett gets some good level ups. Strength, defense, dexterity, and speed. That's about as perfect as you can get without being perfect.
Let's do it.
You'll notice the chance to hit for the enemy on Alden is nothing. This map is a defense map. We can kill all of the enemies and end it. Another great level for Alden. Or it'll end after the 8th enemy turn.
I'll take point.
Notice Irving does almost no damage to the battle mage. He also does not a whole lot of damage to this guy. Sort of hoping he crits. We do want things to die here. Keeping them around for too long will end up with us getting swarmed. And our priests will... well, our one cleric will actually be healing most of the time. She'll be one-shotting the mage.
How did you do that?
Be careful. I won't lose you.
Your characters will gain experience based on their relative level. We're getting slightly less than we would in this mode. We're also getting a little bit less gold. And enemies are a little bit stronger, although thanks to the randomizer,
Stay with me.
that's not entirely the case.
You dropped something. Are you sure?
These guys, thieves are very hard to hit. That is the first upgraded rogue. Their dodge is good. Whose dodge is not good are clerics. This guy is not going to do too much. He's going to be kept disarmed to give Sia something to do. He will probably eventually kill himself. Early in the game, while you don't have weapon upgrades, you're really just trying to find the thing that hits the most consistently. Once weapon upgrades start happening, you'll pretty much only use the upgraded
Sword
weapons.
grows lighter with every
Irving,
swing.
not getting any defense or speed is a little troubling, but not too much. The advanced classes can fix some of this. You can hide some of their weaknesses. Also note that the damage shown is not the damage that will happen. Some attacks will hit twice, and if it says it does 3 damage, it might do 2 and 2. The damage from armor is taken into account on the display. However, I don't know why other things aren't. In other news, Sia still can't do a whole lot to this guy.
You dropped something.
But we have a couple more important targets to disarm.
Let's do it.
Dragoons are missing some of their aptitudes. I have this feeling that when something isn't in the level range it should be, it misses some of its passives. Like, this guy has no skills. Battle mages should have skills. Drifters should have skills. Meanwhile, the rogue doesn't have skills. Hopefully this is part of the random and not a setting that I missed. I kept aptitudes on. Skills should be on. I didn't turn skills off. Sort of not fun if the enemy is not going to be proccing all their stuff.
Come then, test your resolve.
Criticals have the little anime cutscenes. They pop up.
Lead the way. Nice to see you on your feet.
Sia is usually a decent dodge tank, especially with disarms. Anything she disarms probably shouldn't hit her. She won't do much damage, but she can just kind of infinitely get thwapped or flailed about at.
One step.
That is a decent level for Elias. No defenses, no speed. Alden getting ready to ruin someone's day again. He will double most everything. There is an aspect that says when you double, your second attack does 25% more damage. As soon as we get that, it gets slapped on him, and it pretty much never gets taken off. He can double everything except the fastest rogues, thanks to the way his class work, his personal skill works. He is
Sure?
incredibly broken. When he stops being a good tank, he is still incredibly broken. He also gets to just sit on yellow weapon, which has no weight,
This should be fun.
which lets him be incredibly broken. Normally we'd want to pass out the experience and make sure everyone's leveling equally. You really want everyone to hit level 10 by the time map 4 ends.
I'm on it.
But that may not be entirely true in this run. Just because of the random everything turned on.
Nice to see you on your feet.
Who knows if the horrific room of death will actually be a horrific room of death. Our goal is to give the enemy as small of a chance to hit as possible.
You have my thanks.
Sia, for as good as she can be, is unfortunately gonna have levels like this where she gains no strength, and that hurts. She tends to get subbed out as soon as we have the option to bench characters. Until then, when you need everyone, and everyone starts off force deployed, there's no reason not to use her. Even if all she does is stand there and disarm, that's still very good. It's a lot less damage you take.
I've got a lot to learn.
Alden, magic, speed, hit points.
Let me at him.
There's a crit, and that is a dead bandit. And that's another dead bandit. The random item drops are interesting. In one of my chapters earlier, when I was seeing how the random items actually worked, I got a heal 100%. This is why Garrick can fall off. Got a heal 100% consumable item that sold for a significant amount of money. It's something you'll never use.
You dropped something.
I tend to sell them to the vendors right off for weapon upgrades. We'll see that after this chapter's over.
I'm on it.
Stay with me.
I'll take point. You handled that well.
Early on, we want Irving to spread
My sword
the
grows
love
lighter
to
with
his
every
friends
swing.
with the +6 experience when he gets kills. That's why we stand in formations like this. After the first 2 levels, it gets a little bit less important. Also, when people are going off and doing their own jobs. This is a great level by Marin. She can stay in your party from map 1 till the end, the same way Alden does. She does get replaced just because every other mage has higher stats usually, but she can hold her own against almost anything and anyone.
You dropped something.
She's a bit tankier with plus defensive levels. She can actually spec into a tank. She's not the greatest at it. There are definitely other characters that should be tanking instead of her, but it is an option. We have 2 more turns. Can Garrick just chip damage this guy? He can.
I'm on it.
Elias can't. Again, 12 free experience is nothing to scoff at. We really need the experience. Those baked beans are a 60% health refiller. Percentage-based health refills get a lot better late in the game. Early on in the game, they're much worse than the straight-up healing. Sia's first class upgrade gives her a disarm range of 3. That is a perfect level. She has no magic growth. It keeps her incredibly useful on a couple maps. This guy has nothing to disarm. I believe he is the boss of this map. You can't disarm bosses. I think that's what the little sparkly thing around him is for. No one else can move to that square. Let's see how much damage he does to her. We're fine. Would have liked to kill him if we could.
I'm on it.
That is a lot of damage on Garrick.
Are you sure?
I think we have one turn after this. Just in case. We want to kill as much stuff in each of these maps as possible. The next map is going to be going on the offense and murdering things for 7 turns. And we want to end that 7th turn on our last character getting the kill shot on the last enemy on the map. We survived. We did not kill the
I
boss.
hope I helped.
Note Alden's 201 damage compared to everyone else's maximum of 80. 5 kills, 18 hits, 1 crit, dodged 6 times. Be ready for that stat line, and then be ready for Sia to have a million dodges as well. We'll play the cutscenes through to the next save point, and that will end this video.
Indeed.
Not even.
No.
If y'all don't like watching these, I can mash spacebar and get through them. When I play for myself, a sort of speed read, and then
I'll give the word.
eventually I give up and mash through at least the Bond conversations. It's like the Fire Emblem support conversations, only a lot less fun. That is the end of Chapter 2. Thank you all for putting up with this video so far. I'll catch y'all in the next one for Chapter 3. Well, as soon as the auto playing map finishes.
No kidding.